Hello, everybody. So, um, so I've been identifying as male for a good year now. I started to do my odd projects of, experimenting, seeing where my anxiety levels were at with starting to identify as male. And honestly, I don't think I ever got the last results out on that. But it all really showed that I was actually having a lot less anxiety identifying as male. And, I could go in more detail and all that stuff. Sorry if the lighting is horrid. I'm outside walking and I was too impatient to wait until I was in my apartment, so and I just figured I'd share a little bit of my journey. And honestly, I think one of the biggest things I kind of want to hit on is the fact that, so I always heard that, trans people were always discriminated against really badly. And it's not that trans people don't get discriminated against. It's not that there isn't any transphobia or something like that. But it's just, it happens a lot less than I heard of it happening. And it happens a lot less just watching, not only myself, but watching other people who are in the LGBT community. I just kind of noticed that there isn't as much transphobia and stuff like that. At least not as much. Like, honestly, it's even the opposite. All those people who claimed that they were tolerant and all that stuff, and they just ended up being a lot less tolerant than I honestly expected. I honestly was very surprised to find that a lot of these liberal LGBT type of people were actually very intolerant. I initially thought they were very tolerant people until I actually kind of started to become a part of the community that they kind of are a lot of within. And I honestly think I find it harder to be conservative than to be trans. And when I say this, I'm not even trying to say, oh my gosh, there's transphobia doesn't exist, because it does. And there are people out there who are going to hate you. There really are. And honestly, I think a lot of people need to remember that it's not exactly hate, just really confused love, basically. People are just trying to save you from making a mistake, save you from going to hell. They're just trying to do things because they care. And I think that's something a lot of us forget about. And I've had a lot of bad experiences with my own family members with being trans. So I'm not trying to say, oh, it's easy peasy. However, I am trying to say that it's not as bad as I was led to believe. And I think that's something important for other people to actually hear. People who are similar to me in the way of, hey, I'm not gonna stop being religious or give up my political standpoint because I realize, oh, I'm supposed to be another gender than what I was born with. And and there is science that goes into it. Like I said before, I've done research. I even did a full-blown experiment of seeing how my anxiety levels fared, and I still have a lot of anxiety, but it's definitely not near as bad as it used to be. But I honestly think I find it harder to be conservative in an LGBT area than to just be LGBT in general. It's really hard for someone like me to speak about their opinions or whatever, because you're just kind of going to be shut down. And I don't like that. And I kind of feel like it's hypocritical, because that's the same crap that they don't want happening to them. I mean, no one should be shut down for their thoughts or opinions. But yeah, like I said, yeah, you're gonna face some troubles, and maybe if you're like me and you have a very far right-leaning family and some uptight Christian family members, yeah, you're gonna run into those issues. But the people you reach out to who are LGBT, they might not accept you as warmly, because you are right-winged or you are religious, even if you're not an extreme of that. And it sucks. It really sucks, because you feel confused. You don't know. You feel excluded from both sides. And it's stupid. It is stupid that we live in a society where this is what we see as okay. This is anyhow. I faced my dad, threatening to keep my siblings away from me. Right now, that's kind of up in the air. I think he realized that would be really bad. I think he was one of the very few smart people who are dumbasses at the same time. So, yeah. And of course, my aunt argued with me for like 24 hours. Oh goodness, and like I said, I also eventually kind of had to make not only a coming out post, but then several months later had to make a post about, hey, don't walk on eggshells with me. I'm not about that crap. And yeah, and of course, you can find people who are in that middle ground. It's just a lot harder to find people who will accept you, and it's not fair, but that's kind of life, I guess, for you. You're just gonna be rejected for being one thing. It's like the 50s with being a mixed child. That's horrible. And now YouTube's gonna call me racist or something. Yes, just call the blind guy racist, you guys. I've had that happen, by the way. It's great. No, it's racism is bad. Don't treat people like shit. I don't care what race you are, just don't treat each other like shit. But yeah, and of course I started hormones back in December, and honestly that was when my dad reacted the worst. Gosh. Oh, come on, I'm in lighting. I am walking where there's good lighting here. Look at this. But it's not showing my face, dang it. Anyhow, that's I'm blind, but I actually have some vision. Like, it's really crappy vision. And I can barely tell race apart. Barely. So, I figured I'd use that to compare to since I already said it. Yeah, and when I started hormones, that's when I got the most backlash from my dad. And that's also when I did get a couple other people being like, that's not good, that's not the way you should go. Of course, I am religious, and I'm just kind of like, dude, I pray to God. I put my effort in, and I just... But who knows, maybe things will change, and I would like to see a change. I'd like to feel more accepted for just being who I am, whether that be being trans or being right-winged or being religious. Yeah, if there's so much more I could honestly talk about, but I could also talk for hours on end. So if you guys want to hear any more from me, then, comment, say, hey, I want to hear more about your story going through transition. I'll even go in more detail about month by month and some big stuff that's happened. So, yeah, thanks YouTube for watching me. Bye.